The darkness swallowed the house before the scream cut through a whisper turned into terror. In the hush of midnight, a single shot echoed down the corridor. Glass shattered, a mother's cry, blood on the hallway carpet, and then silence. That was the last moment the outside world knew anything about the family living at 23 Elm Way, but they didn't know the half of it. The Johnson family had always seemed ordinary. On the surface, a quaint two-story house in a well-kept suburban neighborhood, manicured lawns, friendly waves to neighbors. On weekend walks, there was Richard Johnson, always suited, polite, a mid-level accountant at a downtown firm. His wife, Emily, soft-spoken, home-loving, busy with community events and charity bake sales. Their daughter, 6-year-old Lily, shy but with bright eyes, dancing in the backyard on sunny afternoons. On a Friday, April 14th, 2017, at approximately 11:47 p.m., the tranquility shattered. The family was home, lights dimmed for bedtime, cars parked in the driveway, the neighbors long asleep. Through the curtained living room window, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Yet behind that closed door, a secret life was unfolding. Richard had been leading a double life. Behind the polished exterior and warm greetings lay shadows. Late-night phone calls, hushed conversations in the garage, unfamiliar footprints on the back lawn after midnight. 4 weeks before that fatal night, neighbors reported hearing muffled arguments, the slam of doors, and the occasional glimpse of a woman leaving in a dark sedan just after dusk. The woman was never named as someone. No one asked too many questions. After all, this was Elmwood Way. Crime didn't happen here. That night, inside the house, the scene was deceptively calm. Emily tucked Lily into bed. She kissed Richard goodnight, or at least she appeared to. He nodded, promise of a morning hug. She turned off the lights. The house fell silent. Then the phone rang. 1 ring. 2 rings. Somewhere upstairs, the ringtone of Richard's burner phone cut through the darkness. He hesitated, fingers trembling, then answered. Within moments, his expression changed. Pale, eyes glazed with fear. Something in his voice shifted as he told the caller he would handle it tomorrow, that everything would be fine, that he loved her 10A UN gap. He didn't return to the bedroom. He walked down the hallway, kicked open the door to the basement, and closed it behind him. The air grew colder. A single bulb flickered against the humming of the old furnace, muffled sobs. Meanwhile, upstairs, Emily stirred in her sleep. Lily whimpered. The sound, soft but growing, turned into a sharper cry. A footstep. Metallic scrape. At the top, a splash of red marred the white wall. Her breath caught. Instinct screamed. She descended. In the basement door's small window, she saw him. Richard kneeling beside a figure. Another woman, face pressed into the damp concrete, faint rattling breath. At first, Emily thought it was someone bound, a stranger intruding. But as she stepped closer, horror flooded her. The woman lifted her head, eyes wide, pleading, and whispered a name. Sarah. The name meant nothing and everything. Why? Emily's voice cracked. But Richard didn't answer. The gun was in his hand, still warm. He raised it. Emily backed away. The basement furnace guttered. Shadows dancing. And then 2 things happened in an instant. A second sort. And Emily collapsed. Lily's scream followed. In the aftermath, the house in Elmwood Way became a crime scene. Neighbors awoke to police cars, yellow tape, and bright flashlights piercing their sleepy cul-de-sac. Rumors spread like wildfire. Who was the woman? What was she doing in their basement? Did Emily survive? What about the little girl? For hours there was nothing but chaos. Sirens, paramedics moving in and out, officers taking statements from stunned neighbors, and the heavy, oppressive weight of shock. First came the arrest. Richard Johnson, pale, disheveled, wrists handcuffed, standing silently against the wall of his own home. He muttered nothing. He barely looked at the press cameras. The woman in the basement, later identified as Sarah Mills, was rushed to the hospital. She survived, gaunt, traumatized, refusing to speak more than the one word Emily heard. Then she lapsed into silence. Emily, shot in the shoulder, clung to consciousness long enough to whisper. He was hiding something. Always. Lily was taken to a neighbor's house, trembling, clutching her stuffed rabbit. As the investigation unfolded, details emerged that peeled away the facade of the perfect family. Detectives gazed through financial records, call logs, credit card statements. They discovered a second phone linked to a secret account. Burner calls made to a number registered under the name Sarah M. Frequent purchases at hotel-motels under the guise of business expenses. Late-night rides requested through rideshare apps, where the pickup was the Johnson address, and a sedan dropped off downtown. Surveillance footage in the city's underbelly showed Richard S. car parked outside a cheap motel, faded lights flickering, windows steamed up. He checked in under a fake name, stayed for hours, left at dawn. Sarah Mills appeared at the same motel. Her clothes different, her hair the same dark wave. No one recognized her at the motel, not as a guest, but as something else. The constant shadow behind him. Neighbors described glimpses of a woman's silhouette near the garage. The back door slightly ajar after midnight. A stack of packed duffel bags loaded into the trunk. One neighbor recalled seeing Lily wake up, wandering into the hallway, then being ushered back to bed by Richard with an odd look. He looked angry, she reported. Another heard muffled crying from the garage late one night as the Johnsons returned from some late dinner. When the police dug in the garage, they found a hidden door behind boxers, opening into a narrow crawl space inside. An old mattress, blankets, discarded shoes, and a doorbell from a motel room. A makeshift living space. Authorities concluded it was likely where Sarah had sometimes stayed. During the first press conference, prosecutors laid out a shocking narrative. Richard's marriage to Emily was the public face, but for years he'd quietly maintained a second life, with Sarah. Emotional conversations, financial support, threats if she ever left. He'd told her it was only temporary. Promises of leaving Emily, of building a life together. Sarah believed him. She moved into the basement crawl space, keeping silent, invisible, unseen, hidden in the walls of the house where his daughter slept. The plan had gone on for months, but that night, something snapped. Sarah demanded he choose. Leave Emily. Take her away. He refused. She threatened to expose everything, and he panicked. The prosecution's tale was dramatic. A story of betrayal, secrets, and a man terrified of losing control. Evidence piled up. Text messages deleted but recovered from backups, detailing threats. If you talk, I'll make sure you regret it. Surveillance footage from convenience stores where Sarah bought last-minute groceries for her hidden apartment. Bank transfers labeled help with rent. Calls between phones at all hours. Silent calls, whispers. Forensic analysis of the basement door's glass panel. Fingerprints matching Richard's and, strangely, one set that didn't match any known residents. DNA samples from a cigarette but found in the basement trash matched. Sarah Mills's DNA. Detectives speculated Sarah had tried to flee that night. Confrontation. Maybe Richard tried to force her out. Words were thrown. The gun came out. One shot at Sarah's shoulder. A second at Emily. Or maybe the other way around. No one knows who fell first. At trial, prosecutors painted Richard as a man driven by guilt, desperation, jealousy. A puppet master caught in his own web. Witnesses testified. Neighbors who saw the dark sedan, the strange comings and goings. Motel employees who remembered a customer with hemline bloodstains. Checking out in a hurry, the rideshare driver who picked up a woman at 2 a.m. and delivered her to downtown. Inside the house, investigators discovered love letters addressed to Sarah, unopened boxers, labeled, "Don't open till Edith and Lily move." A contract of sorts. A copy of a rental lease. Under her name, a faded photograph of Sarah and Richard at a distant beach, smiling, oblivious to the wreckage they would create. Yet, defense attorneys fought back. They argued the basement was never meant as a second home, just a storage area. The dark sedan sightings were unrelated individuals. The motel stays were business trips gone unscheduled. The bank transfers charitable donations for an unnamed shelter. The smoking butt planted. They claimed Richard had always loved his wife, never threatened Sarah. That night had been an argument about money, not betrayal. The shot was accidental. The second, maybe from panic. There was no proof he intended murder. The jury heard conflicting stories. Experts debated whether the basement door might have been tampered with by an unknown third party. A mysterious phone number, traced to a prepaid SIM, never reactivated. The rideshare driver, under pressure, recanted parts of his testimony. The motel clerk recalled a man, but swore it wasn't Richard. During the trial, Sarah almost never spoke. When she did, her voice was hoarse, trembling. She claimed she couldn't remember clearly. She said sometimes she felt safe, sometimes afraid, but she never wanted to harm Emily or little Lily. "I just wanted out," she whispered once. A hush fell over the courtroom. The defense used her reputation, a woman down on her luck. Perhaps mentally fragile, perhaps too. Local media, which had erupted with sensational headlines, turned skeptical. Some columnists questioned if it might have been a robbery gone wrong, or perhaps a jealous acquaintance of Sarah's, someone who resented Richard's secret generosity. The community fractured. Some demanded justice for Emily and Lily. Others whispered about character assassination, about circumstantial evidence. In the end, the jury found Richard guilty of second-degree attempted murder and illegal possession of a firearm. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison, with parole eligibility after 15, though prosecutors pushed for life, claiming the danger he posed was ongoing. Sarah was given protection and relocated under a witness protection-style program. Emily and Lily left Elmwood Way, relocating to an undisclosed location. The media attention slowly faded. The police tape taken down, the house sold and repainted. Yet whispers lingered, because not all questions found answers. No one ever discovered how long Sarah had lived in the basement crawlspace without detection. The demolition crew that remodeled the house before resale reported finding an old, sealed-over hatch behind drywall. Long since filled in, the dark sedan was never registered. The prepaid SIM used to call her was wiped clean. No messages remained, no numbers saved. There were no bank records proving who really received the charity transfers. The mystery number. It vanished. The rideshare logs past 2015 had been purged. The motel's CCTV tapes older than 6 months had been overwritten. In court, strangers claimed to have seen a woman who resembled Sarah near the Johnson house months before, but none testified. Their names faded. Years later, in 2021, a curious blogger obtained a leaked file from the police investigation. Heavily redacted, one line stood out. Unidentified DNA sample be subj. Unknown. Not Johnson. Not Mills. A third set of prints found under the basement door wiped clean but for a faint ridge pattern. Experts speculated a possible third party involved. A friend of Sarah's, a stalker perhaps, or a hired accomplice who vanished when the basement collapsed. The police never reopened the case. No warrant issued, no arrest made. The statement stood, cold and unresolved. Today, the house on Elmwood Way stands empty again. Overgrown lawn, windows boarded up, a layer of dust on every windowsill. Locals avoid walking near it at night. Rumors circulate of lights flickering inside after dark, shadows that move behind the curtains. Some say they hear crying, a child's laugh, a woman sobbing, footsteps in the hallway. He lived a double life, not just a tagline, but a warning that even the most ordinary families can hide broken lives, dark secrets, and unspeakable fear behind closed doors. So I leave you with this, Midnight Crime Vault loyal watchers. Do we really know the people next door? The friend who waves and smiles, the colleague who works late, always an excuse, always another call after midnight, the confession from the basement, the gunshot echoing in the walls. These reveal just a fraction, because sometimes the bloodstains wash off, the house gets sold. Life moves on, but the secrets, the guilt, the unknown third prince, they linger in the shadows, waiting. Was Richard acting alone? Or was there someone else, someone who pulled the strings from behind the scenes? Sarah's friend, a jealous lover, a hired hand. The unidentified DNA remains a silent scream. The empty basement, a tomb of lice. The boarded-up windows, a tomb of lost innocence. And somewhere, maybe tonight, Someone is living a double life. Someone you pass every day on the street. If you believe you know the truth, or you want to believe, remember, things are never always what they seem. And if you listened this far, subscribe to Midnight Cremo, hit that bell, and join us next time because the next story might be closer than you think.